Hi guys, and welcome to the Lonely Catchup. It's myself, Rampant FM, and today I'm joined by Mozza. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How's you?
It's still recovering a wee bit, but and Shaun Spedding. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I think I'm probably doing a bit better than you, Per. I wasn't on it last night.
So we'll start with Friday's game, Spartans versus Kelty. I believe you were there as well, Shaun, as myself. So do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, absolutely. I travelled through to Ainsley Park for this one. So, yeah, it was a really good game. Early on, Kelty had a lot of the pressure, but Spartans still got their shots in early doors. I think you were doing the Twitter for Kelty again, and you know there was a lot of shouts for Gaz, and you weren't really sure if that was Leighton or Cannizaro, but yeah, it was quite a full stand over there, especially with the rain, so I can imagine that would have been tricky. After 27 minutes, Richie had a chance to open the scoring as the ball fell to him in the box, but Carswell was able to safely collect it. Atkinson got close up to open the scoring for Spartans, but the ball went just past the post, so the game stayed 0-0. 40 minutes, Atkinson went close again, but he was stopped again by an excellent tackle by Carsters and a follow-up save by Christie. And then right on the break, Spartans' Jack Smith went really close with a header again, but surprisingly the game went into half-time 0-0. Second half started a lot quicker, and after 51 minutes it was Errol Douglas, the former Spartan, that actually hit the back of the net for Kelty to give them a 1-0 advantage. But 4 minutes later, Aaron Scott played in. Scott Maxwell still had a lot to do before slotting it home to make it 1-1. There was then Kerr McCauley came on for Chris Dodds, and at 77 minutes, and shortly after that it was actually Spartans that took the lead through Blair Atkinson, made it 2-1. Spartans almost scored an own goal, but the keeper was able to get down and make the save from his own defender. Towards the end there was a lot of pressure from Kelty as well, as they searched for that equaliser, but Spartans played really strong, really structured at the back, and the game finished 2-1. It was Blair Atkinson that picked up the Spartans man of the match, and Gary Leighton picked up the Kelty man of the match, but no, it was a really good game. You could tell it was between two of the top sides in the Lowland League.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Spartans, especially the back line. They seemed to sort of change in the second half, because I think Gary Chen was up a bit more attacking, as was Mikey Hurd, and they kind of switched with the likes of Jamie Dishington coming up in the second half. But for me, it always looked like they had six behind the ball when Kelty were on the attack. Not a lot of space between the goalie and the defenders, or the defender in the midfield. Very, very structured Spartans. Really impressed with the defence. It's what they're really known for at home. I think safe to say that it's what they've built title-winning teams on. They've obviously not had the best of seasons in terms of where they are in the league now, but certainly looking strong for top four. But all in all, I think from a Kelty point of view, I think they'll be disappointed with the way they played. There was a lot of times where Cargay looked like he was kind of alone up top, and we've not really seen that a lot in a lot of the games. Usually either Brian Ritchie or Dodds or Ross Much is up there with him, but it's more down to Spartans playing tactically brilliant. I think they were really good. Kelty, they'll just be disappointed, I think, knowing the Kelty guys. It's not up to the standards that we've really seen this season of them.
Yeah, you could tell that Spartans are a lot more comfortable playing on the bigger pitch than Kelty were. There was a lot of times where Kelty were playing in a bit too tight, and then other times when they were playing too wide. They just couldn't really get down to the size of the pitch, I think, and Spartans definitely had an advantage there.
Definitely, and I was really impressed with Adam Corbett at the back. I think he was probably one of the standouts for me, as well as Blair Atkinson, who I think, had it not been for the wind, I think Spartans could have easily put more past Kelty. I think they were unlucky with a few chances. Jack Smith's header in particular, I think the wind might have just took that away from the goals. But I've never seen, we've discussed it, Moz, obviously, I've never seen Jack Smith score a goal, and I've seen him about 3 or 4 times this season, so maybe I'm a bit of a jinx to the guy.
You can only give him so many games before he ends up getting a goal. And we said very, very early in this podcast when we were talking about basically pre-season and kind of getting into the early stages of it, I thought he would be a great signing for Spartans, because all he does is score goals, and it's the most important thing in the game. So he's hit a right purple patch of late, and it's no coincidence that as he's gone on this run of form, suddenly Spartans are beginning to blow teams away again. And from what the two of you guys were saying, sounds like it's one of their best performances of the whole season they've put in on Friday night, so fair play to them.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I think probably one of the best defensive performances from a team I've seen this season, and it's pretty much typical Spartans at Ainsley Park, isn't it? It's the Spartans we're sort of used to seeing. I think the issues they've had is obviously with the likes of Jack Smith. When he was injured, they just didn't have as many goals in them, and now the fact that he's back, Blair Atkinson seems to be on form as well in terms of goal scoring. Stephen McDonald, players like that, they're back in contention for a high finish in the league, I think.
No, absolutely. I think something else that you mentioned about Spartans keeping the pressure on for that top 4 finish, they're actually, after beating Kelty there, they're only 5 points behind Kelty with a game in hand. And bearing in mind Kelty have still got to play East Kilbride twice. I think it's getting really interesting in that battle from probably BSC right down to Spartans at the moment. Not only for 4th anymore. I think it's opening right up as we edge towards the end of the season.
Yep, agreed. So we'll go into Saturday's games. Gretna versus Whitehill Welfare was postponed. Vale of Leven versus BSC Glasgow was postponed. Well, we've left them quite late in the pods as of late, but we'll go to East Kilbride. Edisport Academy versus East Kilbride. It was 1-0 to Kilby. 33 minutes gone, ball played wide to Craig Reid, who whips a ball into the box that reaches the head of Craig Malcolm, who bullets it home. They're one game away from the title. Edisport, on the other hand, they've only got 3 games to play, and it looks like they surprisingly might have a bit of a low finish that I don't think was anyone really was expecting at the start of the season, but a lot of teams below them have they're not far away from them, and they have more games to play, so an interesting one there, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's what Kilby have been doing for the past however many weeks, just getting the win, regardless of the scoreline. They're keeping clean sheets, even if it only takes 1 goal here or there. They're doing the business. Craig Malcolm yet again, leading from the top, leading by example as captain. So yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't be sitting here next weekend talking about how Kilby have now wrapped up the league, the way things are going, and it's testament to the way that Stuart Malcolm's taken them over, just led them on. It's just been relentless. They keep pushing on. They've ground out the results when other teams like BSC and Kelty have dropped points here or there, and they'll be worthy winners when it's all said and done. It's going to happen now, so it's just a case of when rather than if. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think East Kilbride don't play next weekend, but if Kelty and BSC were to not pick up points next week, they would wrap it up next week, but otherwise they play, I think it's Colts at home the week after, and they have to do that, and that'll be them wrapped up the league before they play their final run of games against, I think it's Spartans, Kelty, BSC, Kelty, so they'll have wrapped it up before they even play those 4 games.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, just looking at the fixture list, you're right. So basically, if BSC and Kelty don't pick up the 3 points next weekend, that's it, game over. In a way, that'd be a shame. You'd kind of want them to do it on the park, the way that the year's gone for them. So the way the games are, I can't see both BSC and Kelty dropping points. They're both home games, and yeah, it'll probably be in a fortnight's time then in that case. But it's interesting you mentioned about Edisport there as well, Rampant, because when you look at the table, they're comfortably mid-table, obviously, but when we've talked about this kind of race for the top 4 with Civil Service and Spartans thrown in, And then Shire and Cumbernauld Colts, not too far behind, but a wee gap between the top 5 and them. You'd think Edgesport would really want to be with those two, at the very least. And they've clearly been experimenting recently and making a few changes, testing things out, but they're beginning to get dragged back down to the pack at the bottom half of the table, and that's really not where they want to be, I would suggest. So we've had this chat about Cumbernauld Colts up to this point. It'll be interesting to see how the academy finish the season off, because if they finish it strongly, they'll try and obviously carry that into the next campaign, but it's maybe not the best thing if they go out with a whimper this time round.
Agreed, mate. And the thing about Edinsport, they've got a good team there. On paper, they should be probably higher than they are. Obviously, they've had, as you mentioned, they're doing a bit of experiment. They've brought in a lot of experienced players, most likely for next season. But you would really want momentum from now going forward. But it's looking like it might be, as I mentioned earlier, a bit of a low finish for them, considering the team that they have had there at the start of the season. Because they've got decent players, obviously. In terms of East Kilbride, obviously, I noticed Sean Winter was a wee bit happy with the result on Friday. The Spartans, what a guy Sean Winter is, obviously. We're all, pleased for him. I'm sure he'll be loving it, with the East Kilbride potentially winning the title either next weekend or the weekend after. But I think we've known for a while that they're probably going. They were favourites to win it, I think, from the start of the season. We couldn't see past East Kilbride for winning at Mozza. Start early doors, really. Yeah.
But it's one thing saying that and another thing doing it in the style they're doing it. They've absolutely just, in general terms, they've absolutely kind of swept aside all comers, haven't they? Because, obviously they've had the squad in place that we thought was the best squad in the league, but you've still got to go and do the business, get the tactics right, get everything sorted the right way. And you think now that their focus will be properly on that playoff that's going to come up, especially given that they've been so close to getting promotion in previous years and just been outdone by penalties ultimately. So they'll be looking to make sure that they get their business done early this time round.
We'll move on to Cumbernauld Colts versus Edinburgh University. It was a 1-1 draw at Broadwood. Delayed kick-off following a requested keeper kit change by the referee for Colts keeper Jordan Pettigrew. You know why I've mentioned that, Mozza will obviously speak about it later. There was a bit of I don't know, a similar thing to the game we were at on Saturday as well. Colours not really the best. But it was Edinburgh Uni that opened the score in 10 minutes from the break. It was a goal from Patrick Baird. 6 to 8 minutes, Stephen O'Neill rounds the keeper, showing great feet, finishing a Fraser team through ball. Really, Colts, they've not really had many defeats, but they're just not really winning games. It's been a case of drawing lately, I think.
Aye, absolutely. It's I think Cumbernauld, they've not probably had the season that they were wanting. They were looking like quite a promising team early on, but they've just struggled to get the 3 points in too many games this season. And Edinburgh Uni, I think they'll be quite happy with them being away from home with that result, and with Stirling Uni dropping points as well, it puts them both on 24 points after 24 games, so it's keeping that Uni battle really interesting as we head towards the end of the season, which is really good to see. But I think Cumbernauld will be quite frustrated with the result after that game.
One that I don't really have much to add to it, to be honest. You're quite right. The 2 years in that Colts will naturally not be too chuffed with the run of results they've had. They've not necessarily been kind of losing a lot of games. It's just they're lacking that winning touch just now. And when you've got the likes of Fraser team there that can clearly put the ball away and create goals as well, they'll feel a wee bit disappointed, I think, with the way that things have gone as soon as we've got into 2019. But there's still time to finish on a high and finish strongly, and it's a common theme that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, that teams will want to finish with a good run of form to carry over into next season.
Well, they've still got a game in hand over East Stirlingshire, and they're sitting on the same number of points, so a 6th place finish is a respectable finish for them. But I do think there's been a lot of games where they could have picked up those couple of extra points, and they maybe could have been up there with Spartans and Civils at this point of the season.
Yeah, we'll get into Gala Fairydean Rovers versus East Stirlingshire. We spoke to Andy Rodgers on Tuesday at training, so we'll listen to that first. So I'm here speaking with Andy Rodgers. Obviously, we've got a bit of previous with it. As we found out, obviously, Andy, the club secretary, I think, mentioned it was a bit of banter and everything, but mainly for Mozza to say I spoke to you. You've got a bit of a reputation, Andy, of being a bit of a wind-up merchant, if you will.
That's definitely early years. I've not shied away from having a bit of a wind-up, but I've tried to calm down slightly as I didn't use social media quite as much. Anyway, I thought once I take my management position, I thought I'd better take this a bit more serious. So, but no, look, I don't mind. As I said, I'm getting a bit of stick off the crowd. I accept that. I take it. Usually, if I can give them a wee bit stick back within the rules, I probably will.
Brilliant. One thing I was going to ask you, obviously, you and Del have sort of taken over from quite a difficult position, obviously, with the previous manager leaving and that. Is it something you've always wanted to do, get into sort of coaching and management?
Probably since maybe the last 4 or 5 years. It's always been something on my mind to sort of do my coaching badges, whether it be management, whether it be coaching. I wasn't entirely sure. And obviously, when the previous manager John, when he left, it was just too good an opportunity to turn down for me and Del. Really, we've not got much left in the legs, so it was probably the right time. And but we're enjoying it. It's difficult. It's different. It can be frustrating, but it's rewarding as well when the work you do during the week pays off at the weekend. So it's a sort of whole different outlook on the game, but it's definitely something I'm enjoying and something I hope to continue.
Brilliant, mate. And the cup game aside, Shire are obviously on a wee bit of a run in the league. What's sort of been the change for you, obviously, coming from a bit of a difficult position and then sort of hitting form?
I just think a number of things. We've brought in one or two boys to try and strengthen up the squad. We were probably a bit short on numbers when we came in. Moving to the stadium was a big difference for us. Obviously we were at Stirlingshire for the last few years, but it's a big pitch out there. I think people enjoy coming here to players who maybe not so much at Stirlingshire. So the teams are coming here, they get a wee bit of a lift. It's a good surface, and we've struggled at home, but we've maybe got a system going now where we know how to play out there as well. But it's just been hard work. We've worked for weeks to try and get it right. When we first came in, we chopped and changed and mixed things up a bit, but we know the direction we're going in, and the boys are buying into it, which, because we do a lot of hard work, we've probably stepped up the tempo of training slightly, and it's become probably harder for them, but they're getting the rewards.
Brilliant. And Gala on Saturday down at the Netherday, how do you see that going?
It's a tough one. We've never done, the last couple of years we've not really done too well against Gala, to be honest. I think the first year we were in the league we beat them 10-1, and that was probably the best performance I remember at the club. But last season and this season they've already knocked us out the Scottish Cup down there this season and beat us comfortably here in the league, so we know it's going to be a difficult one, but as I say, we're in a much better position now than what we were when we played those games, so hopefully we're going to get a good result. Myself and Andy, obviously, long overdue meet there, Mozza. There's a lot of things I think modern day footballers have to sort of put up with. Obviously, if they're on social media, a lot of people, their actions on social media and obviously on the pitch, people I think get the wrong maybe perception of them. When I met Andy, I thought he was brand new. I thought he's obviously a bit of a character in that, but he was sound. We had a laugh about everything. He obviously said he's trying to calm it down, but sometimes I think it's just his reputation maybe that precedes him, I think.
Yeah, it was really interesting meeting him and just catching up with him and getting his thoughts on how a lot of things go down when he's playing. Said that he likes getting goaded on a little bit as long as it doesn't get personal, and he likes to give back a little bit as well, which I suppose makes the game interesting at this level when it's not taken too far, but there's a bit of give and take between the fans and the players. So it was really good to meet him. I enjoyed that.
Aye. And we've had this chat before, obviously, about kind of like the golden and a bit of banter and so on. And I said before, and I still stand by it, I'm all for it. So keep it going, Andy, basically.
Yep. In terms of the game, Gala Fairydean took the lead through a Rory Payton penalty on the 22nd minute. Phil Addison doubled their lead on the 73rd minute. It was a breakaway through by Gala after a Shire attack. 77 minutes, Ross Allam, ball in by Rodgers, met by Ross Allam with a glancing header. The ball did come off Gala's Ricky Miller, but I think from what I've heard, they're giving the goal to Ross Allam. So, and just before the end of the game, it was Connor Green who again breaks that goal scoring record for a Shire defender. Again, we've probably mentioned it, Mozza with the, I don't know who's keeping the records of that, but well done to Connor Green on that one. Just before we get into the game, guys, we do have an interview with Gala manager Dean Shanks, who's with David Knox.
Shanks, you weren't too happy at the final whistle, Dean. 2 goals given up, but again, putting into the context, you had a lot of players missing today.
Yeah, I've got a lot of players out, but when you're 2-0 up, to surrender it in that fashion, and they're avoidable goals, both of them, it's frustrating, and you know it is, it's 2 points drop. When you're 2-0, you should always see it a game, especially with the experience we've got, but we've had to get a lot of guys in this week just to patch up things, so disappointed, but you know, we'll take it how it is. You know, we're 2-0 up and we get a point, but really it should have been 3. Really, it should have been.
You always look for positives, we all do in games like this, and I think one of the big ones was young Charlie Green, especially that first 45 minutes. I was really impressed with that youngster.
He's only just turned 16-year-old, and I mean he showed up well in our last game when he was sort of chucked right in against Spartans, and he carried on again in the first 45 minutes. I thought he tired a bit in the second half. That's to be expected, but moving on, he's a positive to take. Yeah, there was, Phil Addison today, you know, so fantastic goal, what a goal. So you take the positives, and we are slowly but surely, like as of I think Tuesday, we'll have probably three of the first team boys back. So I'm looking forward on to next week now.
And I was just going to come to that Whitehill welfare up there. With more players back, you can go out there a wee bit confident and just try and see the season out, pick up a few wins.
Oh, aye. I mean, like, if we've got the season to see out, but also we've just got to focus on the League Cup. You know, for that and changing in there, we need to go and see what it's like to win something. So we've got our eye on that. So the boys know that we've still got to keep going. I mean, we're expecting to go right until sort of middle of May with the Cup, and we've got 4 league games to go. And there's no reason when we get our boys back, the squad that we've got in there, that we can beat anybody on our day. So looking at the positives, Davey, but as I say, sort of a bit of disappointment, but at the same time I've got to look at the bigger picture as well.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks to Debbie Ritchie for providing us with that interview. Barclay and Andy Rodgers mentioned the fact that Gala were a bit of a bogey team for Shire as of late, but for them to be losing 2-0 so late into a game, to come back and get the draw, I think shows a bit of grit from Shire there. Really, at the end of the day, quite a decent result from a hard place to go in the Netherdale, I think.
Yeah, it's a tough away day, and we've said before that Gala are obviously a very, very decent team on paper and at home in person. Shire's run of form recently, we've talked about it, has been great. And I think it just shows you the feeling in that dressing room that been 2-0 down, 15 odd minutes left, and I've came right back, so it's never say die. Obviously the confidence is still flowing through them, even though, like, for the first time in a long time, it looked like they were going to lose 3 points. So you've kind of just got to applaud the fact that they've managed to pull it right back. I assume that Rovers will be a wee bit kind of upset they've let a 2-goal lead slip, but great game of football by the sounds of it. 4 goals. You always get entertainment with Shire either way, don't you?
No, absolutely, and I think this was the one that, well, I think every game sort of catches your eye, especially at this point in the season, but it was one of those where nobody could call out how it was going to finish, and I don't know if anybody would have said Gala would have been winning after 2-0 after 75 minutes and it would have finished 2-2, but no, it's like, congratulations to East Stirlingshire for coming back there. Like Andy said in his interview, it was a bit of a bogey team for them, so they must be happy coming back with a point, especially after being 2 down. And it keeps their unbeaten run in the league going. So they haven't been beaten in the league in 2019 so far, and it keeps that going and keeps them in 6th position. So I think they'll be quite happy. And like you say, I think Gala might be kicking themselves a little bit.
Absolutely. And getting into the game we were at, Mozza, Stirling Uni, obviously a bit of a bogey team for Civil. I don't think they've ever taken a point off them, but that changed on Saturday. They won 1-0. Hammy, aka Ian Ballantyne, fires Civil ahead on the stroke of half time to make it 1-0 Civil. There wasn't really much to talk about in the game apart from perhaps Josh Donaldson wearing pink. His strip was too similar to Stirling Uni's. He had the green socks, the green shorts, and almost like a Palermo top, I think I mentioned. There was a wee bit of a banter between the Twitter accounts, if you will. Obviously the Stirling Uni chaplain missed the start of the second half due to the 3-mile walk. I think,
quote unquote.
I think what did I describe it to you as, mate? I think a Lord of the Rings adventure trying to get to it. So I can see where he's coming. See where he's coming from there. But great from Civil as well. Not quite 3 miles. The joys of playing teams with their own ground, I suppose. It's a brilliant comeback. The wind really hampered this game, I think. Both teams played fairly decent football given the conditions. It was kind of similar at the Spartans Kelty game, though. It was windy, it was rainy. Very hard for players to really put anything together in terms of attempts on goal or what. Civil took their chance. I think that was the difference. We did kind of... Yeah. I think Rory McEwen had a really good game for Stirling Uni, as well as Matthew Burrows. His long throws were pretty much effective, putting pressure on Civil, but well deserved for Civil. I think they were overall the better team and thoroughly deserved the win.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, the wind had a massive factor in the game itself. It was initially Stirling Uni, they dealt with it better. I think the fact that they try to play the ball on the deck, play passing football. We mentioned Burrows was really impressive for them at right back, really solid, getting forward and kind of trying to deliver as well, balls, and be it from throw-ins or be it crossing into the box. Was really impressed with McEwen on the right as well. Obviously Blair Lyons is always a threat, so when the two of them are on left wing and right wing, it gives any defence at this level a handful. But I think ultimately once the two teams settled into the game and Civil took a wee bit longer to, the fact that Strollers played a bit more direct kind of made it easier for them, I think. Uni played a lot of nice passing stuff, but they just didn't really have a final pass, a final ball. They had one really decent chance at the start of the second half where it was a ball floated in right to the back post. And we've mentioned Burrows, I think it was Burrows if I remember rightly, on the overlap, and he was kind of caught between two options, shooting or putting the ball back across, and ultimately just kind of bounced off his foot without any conviction, and the keeper was able to swallow up. So that was their big chance to come back into it. Civil get one cracking chance right on the stroke of half time and took it, and that was the only difference between the sides really. But no, there was a few really decent performances despite the weather, and I don't really have much else to add other than obviously a thank you to the guys at Strollers who made us feel really welcome, and no doubt we'll be back.
Definitely, Mozza, and obviously I think Andy Mayer and Craig Newell's really done well as got to mention Kyle Fee as well, and Kerr Allen. I was winding him up a wee bit before the game, obviously on Twitter. I forgot how big he is actually, so maybe he won't be teasing him anymore. But we would have loved to have had a chat with the guys. I'm sure we'll have our chance, but there wasn't really much to talk about in the game, eh?
No, it was one of those that I think they were just happy to get the 3 points and get back into the dressing room and thaw out at the end of the day. You mentioned Andy Mayer there. For me, he was the best player in the park.
Yep.
He's for a guy at this level to have really decent technique like he's got. He's always comfortable. He never looks kind of under pressure or whatnot. And he's more of an attacking threat, isn't he? Like, even though he's a left back, he's pretty much a wing back or going into a winger. And he's just he's got something about him. It's simple as that. He's one of these players that he can win a game for you with one good cross in or one good pass through. Just really impressed with him, full stop.
And we have to obviously mention Kerr Allen. He had a bit of skills on display in the second half, I noticed. But yeah, they're top four and they're looking good. My only concern would be the fact that it's going to be really tough against Spartans, the way they played. But Civil, again, straight up there as well. Can't take anything away from them. And obviously, it was our first day out, Mozza. I mean, I think a lot of people maybe got put off with the wind as well, but all in all, it was great. I was happy with my Greg's Tuna Crunch. No sponsors there, but yeah, it was fantastic. We obviously had a really good time, I think, at Strollers. But yeah, the boys were having a munch after the game, and I didn't really exactly want to disturb them. Who am I to disturb the sandwiches?
Aye, don't get in the way of hungry footballers. But no, it's obviously something we've talked about that we're going to start doing more and more with the different teams that we've not been able to visit as yet. Given that, well, not just myself and you, but obviously Shaun now in the pod as well. I think it's important that we get to see as many of the teams in the flesh as possible. So, well, no doubt we'll make arrangements to get to other teams as we go, and we'll just get an idea of exactly kind of what else is out there in the league and the experiences as well, because I think it's important that we give every club a chance to kind of put themselves out there and what they're about, and hopefully help to get another couple of bodies in on the gate as well.
And I'm sure David Churchill will get on with me if I didn't even mention it, but I think from what I've heard, I think they probably missed Churchy, I think, up top as well, so he was probably a big miss for them because due to suspension. But all in all, two good teams. I mentioned at the Kelty game, obviously, I think when they played them, it was the 2-2 draw at New Central Park. I was really impressed with Uni, and I think they have got a few good players there. It's kind of, it just shows you the quality of the league, the fact that Uni are where they are in the league. They've maybe not had the best times of going out and grinding results, but they're a quality team, and it just shows the quality of the league, the fact that they're kind of lower down in the bottom half of the table, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've both got a really good run of games coming up as well. I think Strollers have done really well again to go and win the game, but they've got their welcoming Spartans to their home ground in a few weeks' time, followed by Kelty, and they're only sitting 3 points behind Kelty in the league. So if they continue to do what they're doing, there's a couple of really interesting games towards the end of the season for those guys. Like I say, home field advantage against both of those teams. They've got as good a chance as anybody to maybe edge even further up the table. I wouldn't write them off. Absolutely.
And we'll get into next week's fixtures, and we'll start with Friday's game, East Stirlingshire versus Civil Service Strollers. I'm actually thinking about popping along to this one, to be honest, if I can get over to the Falkirk Stadium. It's obviously we were at Shire during midweek to speak to the guys. Seen Strollers on Saturday. It should be a fairly decent game, actually. It's probably, looking at all the fixtures, I think that's one that stands out for me as possible match of the week. Getting that in quite early there. But no, it looks a cracker.
I totally agree with you. I think on paper that's the game that looks the most exciting. Certainly from a neutral's point of view, to go along and see get some entertainment, see some goals potentially. But yeah, Shire obviously want to get back into the win column. Strollers need to keep winning to not only keep their noses ahead of Spartans, but as Shaun says, they've got a right good chance of getting up to Kelty and BSC as well. So there's plenty on the line for both teams there, and either way, you I feel like I'm about to jinx the game here, but I'm going to say you're guaranteed some entertainment.
No, and you can't beat a Friday night game as well. So Friday night up at Big Falkirk Stadium, I think, yeah, you could be right. That could be a really good game for a neutral fan.
BSC Glasgow hoping to be back in action. I think they will, because they're playing at the Indoor Stadium, but they're against Dalbeattie. Swifty will be hoping for another one there, I would imagine, Mozza. Dalbeattie not out the fight, obviously, with Whitehill, but Whitehill are really running out of games. They're probably more concentrating on what they can do rather than looking below them, I would imagine. But for me, a BSC victory is probably the most likely thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a potential banana skin because start of being able to pull out points he'd there before. But you'd imagine from Swifty and from BSC's point of view, they'll expect to get back on the pitch, get the rust off, and get 3 points in the bag. I'll be going, so I'll let you know what happens ultimately. But it's it'll be good to get back to seeing the guys playing again. It's been a wee while since I've been able to get into a BSC game, so looking forward to it.
No, absolutely. Just make sure you remember to check the bus times before you head off for this one.
I'm not risking it this time. I'm just going to get a train.
But they'll beat it or not make it easy for them. Not all, they never do. They're a very tricky team to play against. But yeah, where BSC are sitting in the league, the fact they're playing at home, you've got to imagine that they'll do the business here.
Edinburgh University versus Edisport Academy at East Peffermill. Probably one of the harder ones to call. The form's not been there really for both teams. I think Edinburgh Uni started playing a wee bit better, coming off that really bad spell they had. Same with Edisport, I guess, but really hard to tell in terms of form anyway. Who's going to come out on top there, I think.
Yeah, either team could go ahead and win this. And it could end up being a 0-0. Could go anyway, to be honest. Uni, like you said, have started picking up points. Like in games you might not necessarily have expected them to of late. Edisport, it's just really hard to predict where they are just now. So I'm going to sit on the fence on that one, I think, and I'll let Shaun decide who's going to win it.
I think I would actually give the edge to Edinburgh Uni purely for the fact that they're playing at home. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Edisport go out and win that one. Or I think, like you have both said, I think a draw looks like a fair result for both of these teams, but I don't think either will be happy with that.
Nope, and similar, I think Gretna 2008, Vela Leavens are kind of a similar one in that instance. You never kind of know what a Gretna you're going to get, and Vela Leaving not been on the worst spell. I think they're probably they're doing no bad, but I'm going to stay on the fence with that one, I think.
It's the easiest way to be, isn't it? No, as you say, Gretna, you could get them coming out the blocks and winning 4-5-0, or you could get them kind of struggling a wee bit, getting a red card and losing. So it's a tough one to predict again. I think Vela Leithen have been a lot better recently. The last couple of games I've played, Chris Anderson deserves a bit of credit there for what he's doing. But I think if I was forced to pick one of the two, I'd probably side with Gretna in that one.
Oh, see, I think I'd go against you on that. I think Vale, even though they're away from home, I think with the amount of games that they've got left, they'll be looking to pick up points against the teams that are sitting beneath them in the league. And Gretna's one of those teams, and they'll be wanting to see a push towards the end of the season, I think. So I can see Vale Leithen winning this one.
Shaun, he's turned into a Vale fan after the interview with Chris Anderson, that's all it is. No, I'm only kidding. Kelty Hearts versus Cumbernauld Colts. I would fully expect to see Kelty Hearts get back to winning ways, simply because I don't think Barry and the boys will be happy with what happened against Spartans, and I think Cumbernauld Colts might feel a bit of a wrath, a bit of a reaction after that. Colts still a good side though. I'm looking forward to seeing them. It's been a while since I've seen them, but they're not on sort of the best sort of format. They're not losing too many, but it's just too many draws, and I just don't see them going to New Central Park and really picking up anything. I might be wrong though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could see Kelty definitely winning this way. Just the fact there's such as them being at home, what's happened last Friday at Spartans, plus Cumbernauld Colts were the team that beat them earlier on in the season. I think they gave them their first loss in the Lowland League, so I think there'll be a little bit, they'll want to avenge that a little bit. So yeah, I could see this going Kelty's way, and to be honest, I could see Kelty going out there looking for, to knock a few goals in to kind of cement their place in the Lowland League ahead of next season, especially after what happened last week.
Yeah, I've not got too much to add to that again. Actually, when you look at the table, technically, if Kelty lose one more game, it's not just Strollers that could jump ahead of them, it's also Spartans with their game in hand.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of pressure on both BSC and Kelty now to maintain their positions in second and third, with the teams below just putting a bit of heat on. So, I'd expect Kelty to come through and take the 3 points there, but you never know.
Yep. University of Stirling versus Spartans. I haven't seen both teams at the weekend there. I would probably go with Spartans. I was really impressed with them, as I said. Just overall, I gave a lot of credit to their defence, but certainly players like Jack Smith, Blair Atkinson are obviously firing as well. Stephen McDonald's, I think he came on as a sub late into the game, but he's obviously a goal threat usually for Spartans as well. So, University of Stirling, I rate them. They're at fourth bank obviously against Spartans, but I see Spartans really putting the pressure on the top four now, I think, towards the end of the season. I think they've got a lot more to sort of play for than University of Stirling. So I fully expect Spartans to go out there and get another win.
Yeah, and we noticed there was a couple of the Spartans guys watching the game with us yesterday as well. I suspect they'll probably go away thinking that there's 3 points there from them if they play their way that they've been playing recently and put the ball in the back of the net, simple as that. So I'd expect Spartans to go ahead and continue their push up towards the top four again. We'll wait and see what that means in terms of the Iron Brew Cup and whatever for next season, but technically the top four is where you want to be either way, regardless of cup entry. So they'll be really keen to just get as high as they can.
No, absolutely. I think they've scored 12 goals and they've only conceded the one in the last 3 or 4 games. So they're gonna go in, and I think they're gonna keep their form going here as we get towards the end of the season. But Spartans have been red hot after having a bit of a shaky middle of the season. They've been red hot, and I don't think that'll end on Saturday.
Agreed. And obviously the Gretna 2008 Whitehill game was postponed. Whitehill Welfare will be playing Gala Fairydean Rovers at Ferguson Park. I'm going to be on the fence for this one. I really don't know. I think we kind of called the game last week, the postponed game, as maybe probably one of their last chances of maybe seeing out a win. It's hard to call it. I think I'm going to stay on the fence, but I'll stay on the fence, I think, with that one as well.
Well, I can't see Welfare getting an Albion Rovers 6 points at one weekend type situation happening. So, it's do or die time. Simple as that. They've got 5 games left to save themselves. 5 points a gap. And bear in mind, Star have still got 2 extra games in hand as well. So, they really need to win this. Simple as that. 3 home games on the spin now, depending when this Gretna game gets rearranged right enough for Welfare. But they've got Shire coming after this, who you'd be surprised if they were able to get something off of them. Edusport after that, right enough, that's a game they might look at as well as a potential chance. But if they want to stay up, they have to get 3 points this weekend coming. And Gala, they'll be looking to bounce back after throwing away a win, ultimately, the weekend just been. So I'll keep an eye on it. I think I'd see Gala being the favourites going into that, in all honesty.
No, I agree. I think Gala should be looking at themselves as favourites to win this game, but I do know with the squad, the trouble with squad numbers and the fact that they've got a wee bit of travelling to do, that could give Whitehill a wee bit of an advantage. But and when you look at the fact that Whitehill are going to come out, you'd hope they're going to come out really fighting here. Perhaps they can steal something. And it would definitely make their runny games towards the end interesting if they could pick up 3 points here.
Agreed. We'll get into plugs. I'm assuming you missed it last week, Mozza, being able to plug yourself, but Shaun did plug you.
I appreciated it.
So
I listened back and I did appreciate it.
All your followers that you gained last week, you're welcome.
And I noticed it was your good self that did it, Shaun, no Rampant, so just saying.
Yeah, we'll let you go first as always, Mozza.
Go on then. Yeah, so at Mozza Plays, as Shaun told you last week, and yeah, you'll pretty much find anything that I do through Twitter. I'll pop it over to yourself then, Shaun.
Yep, I'm running the Facebook page, so it's just Lowland League Catchup on Facebook there.
Brilliant, and I'm at Rampant FM, and also you can follow the official Catchup Twitter at official Catchup. It's pretty much done and dusted, guys, really. Kind of not too much to cover with 2 postponed games. A lot of games kind of ruined by the weather, as we sometimes have at this level, but it was a great day out with yourself, Mozza. Really enjoyed it. Probably maybe overly indulged too much, but no. So that's pretty much the end of the episode, guys. Obviously, cheers for joining us once again. We want to thank the Civil Service for having us over. It was really great being at Christie Gillis Park. I think it was the first time for yourself, Mozza.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
I really enjoyed it. Wish the weather was a wee bit better, but other than that, I'm impressed with the 2 teams that were on display under tough conditions. We want to thank the players, the managers, everyone that really listens, and the support from the league and George Fraser. And we'll see you next week.